Yo, what is up, Kings? I hope all is well. Today I wanted to talk about submission, the idea of submission. What is it? And is it feasible in a modern context? So let me start here. In previous societies, this was a more well-known thing or understood thing, as most of the population was Christian, whether it be Protestant, Catholic, Orthodox. Most of them were Christian. I would say that this has been the case all the way up probably through the 70s, where most of America is Christian. However, towards the tail end of the 70s, you have enough cultural movements to where you are really starting to see a shift. And the shift that I'm referring to, of course, is feminism, quote unquote, women's liberation. It did begin far before, but this is when we started to see it present. We started to see the actual consequences and results of said ideas and movements. So fast forward to today, and I would say that a majority of America is still Christian. It's not most of it, but Christianity is still the dominant faith. However, it is not as popular as a whole as it once was. The share of the population is a lot smaller. It's still the biggest, but a lot smaller. And because the United States specifically is a more Protestant-leaning nation, although I think that is starting to change. Because of this, you have a lot of Christians, because of sola scriptura, that have allowed feminist ideas and ideals to creep in to their Christian beliefs. So that would be a difference now from the Christianity that you had in the past. You do also have, I would say, a resurgence of women that are being awakened, that would not necessarily consider themselves Christians, but they see it through more of a scientific manner of speaking. And what I mean by that is, okay, men are stronger, men are the primary inventors of society, men are the primary creators of society, and so it logically follows that they should be the leaders. And if you look in the animal kingdom, 9 times out of 10, the male species is the one that is dominant, and the female is submissive. So you have some women that are coming to the idea of submission through more naturalistic, scientific means. So what does submission mean? Well, to me, submission is not, when I think of submission, I don't think of it in the sense of a boot on somebody's neck or anything like that. When somebody is a leader, they still do need to have respect for those that they lead, and have care and love in their heart for those that they lead. Okay? And this is for any context, not just within a marriage context. But unfortunately, feminists have really made a lot of people believe that that is what it means, that submission means that there's one person that's less than, and because of that, they constantly have a boot on their neck, and they're struggling to gain their independence and their freedom. Now, in a certain regard, yes, the less than thing is accurate in some regards. But it's not accurate in the sense that somebody is less than, therefore we are totally going to use and abuse. Okay, that is not what it means. What I see submission as is when a woman says that she is submissive, to me, what entails whether she is really submissive or not is by asking the question, do you follow your husband even with things that you disagree with? Do you follow the direction of your husband even on things that you may disagree with the final answer to be? For example, if you think about like a coaching situation, the college, Division I, the professionals, the pros. Professionals a little bit different because of how much money is involved, but you guys get the point. To know whether a player is truly coachable or not is by how they react to what a coach has to say for things that they disagree with. The direction that they disagree with the coach and the decisions that they may disagree with the coach making. That is how you know that a player is truly coachable or not. Not by merely the things that you agree with. That's when things are easy. That means nothing. That means very little to follow somebody and be submissive only for things that you agree with. Ultimately, the true test of submission is when there are things that maybe your lady might normally disagree with that ultimately she goes along with. And this is a very difficult thing to find nowadays because, number one, Western society has become so comfortable that women forget the real world strength, tenacity, aggression that is required to protect, provide, and things of that nature. They have completely forgotten this. And so, not only is it almost impossible for them to apply it in their assessment of their interpersonal relationship, but it also doesn't add any respect or appreciation that in past times would be there and is very much needed in order for a relationship to be successful. But the second thing is that women have, or at least a lot of women, have convinced themselves a lie, which is that they are equal to a man, that a man really isn't as strong as he says. He's really not as formidable sorry guys, formidable as he says. But deep down they know that those things are the case. This is kind of like an unconscious understanding. Like if you see younger relationships where these girls have not gone through the conditioning, the lies, the manipulation, you see kind of them naturally fall into this more submissive, soft, gentle role because they haven't gone through the meat grinder that is adult life. And they naturally fall back into this role, and they have no issue with it because they don't know any better. I've seen this in a variety of ways, just number one, remembering my relationship when I was younger, and just what I see out and about, because I've told you guys that I am a sports official, so I see, when I go to these high schools, I see a lot of these, and sure, it's like on the surface sort of thing, but, it's, I'll put it to you this way. These girls are not as loud and obnoxious as, say, what I would see from an adult couple. So they have lied to themselves about this. There's nothing better than seeing a woman who is truly in what is known as an actual soft girl era, and because of their softness and their gentleness and their femininity, they really are truly submissive, because they are really in the mindset that they need to be in within the relationship. And the tough thing is, guys, is like, there's even a lot of Christian girls who are proudly Christian in their proclamation. Now, in all reality, there are a lot of things that women wear as fashion statements rather than actually being about it, who are not, they believe in everything but the stuff that has to do with them as a woman, what God says a woman is supposed to do. Now, and this really exists within Protestantism, but I as somebody who has been a Protestant, who is now Orthodox, I see it all over. I see it all over. It's not reserved only for Protestant women, because at the end of the day, they can't help the fact that they were born and raised in Western society. So unless the girl was raised Christian and she was homeschooled for a majority of her life, she is going to have massive amounts, maybe less than the average person, but still massive amounts of indoctrination around feminism. That men and women are interchangeable widgets. A woman can be a leader just as easily as a man can. Or this constant strive for keeping things right down the middle. Not one person is not, this very communistic idea, this very globalistic idea of one is not better than the other. Everything is right down the middle, which anybody who's being honest knows is a fucking crock of shit. Because even if it's a communist woman, even if it's a socialist woman, hell, even if they're not that and they purport to want a 50-50 relationship, and this is proven all the time on Fresh and Fit, on the whatever, or whatever red pill channel that has women come on. When push comes to shove, a majority of women are looking for the exact same thing, which is a strong, capable, competent man that can put her in her place, that has boundaries, that is strong-willed in his boundary making, boundary creation, and who makes the same, preferably more money than she does, and has things that he can teach her and things of that nature. That is what they're looking for. So you tell me what is equal about that. But what ends up happening is, and this is why so many things are out of whack, is you'll have women who want all these things, and naturally so. Like, I don't have an issue with women wanting these things. It's quite natural that they want these things. You'll have women who want all these things, which is fine. The problem is wanting these things, but not holding themselves to the same accountability and the same requirements within that traditional framework. So it's hard, guys. It's very, very hard, and I've done videos on this. It's very hard. Not only to find a kind, gentle, feminine woman, it's even more difficult to find a truly submissive woman. It is very difficult because you'll always hear the modern woman say, I will be submissive to the right man, which even that is a load of shit, because a tiger doesn't shed its stripes. It is laughable that there's all the, and it just goes with the average delusion for the average woman, but it is laughable to think that you can just shed your instinct, shed your learned and now stagnant behavior like that. What's the saying? It takes 30 days of doing a thing to make it a habit, to make it habitual. Behavior is the most habitual thing that exists. So you think that you're going to be able to shed your way of being like that has been built over years habitually? You're fucking crazy. You've been acting this way and doing these sort of things for well over 30 days. You've been doing it for 25 years, 20 years. So don't ever let a woman, if you're a man and you hear and you go out on a date and you hear a woman say to you, I'll be submissive to the right man, run, because that is a load of shit. She will not shed her stripes. She will not become all of a sudden submissive. She will be, I'll put it to you another way. She will be submissive only for the things that she agrees with, only for the things that directly benefit her, only for the things that she can see in her mind that makes sense to her that you're saying. But as soon as you say something that you can see that she can't, or you make a decision that she disagrees with and can't see the full picture, as is usually the case because men are better at seeing the big picture than women are. As soon as you don't have that Skrilla that supposedly puts her in her place, that bitch is going to be not submissive real fucking fast. Real fucking fast. And it's just the way it is, guys. Like, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. So, you know, I'm not like saying this like there's some magic fix to this, because there's not. And personally, and I've said this before, I want to further my line. I want to have kids. But if I cannot find, and I made a video, I don't think I ended up posting it. I made a video about what I am looking for in a woman. And maybe in the future I'll drop that video. But as I've said, I would rather not be married and forego having kids than to be with a non-submissive, quarrelsome woman, honestly. And I know there's some men out there within the manosphere who say, well, if you're truly a strong man, she'll just fall in line by way of you being a strong man. And I do think that there's some truth to that. But still, it is hard for a tiger to shed their stripes, if not impossible. And I've said in the past also that, you know, there's some guys that have to swallow the bullet just because of sheer numbers and the stats of it all, that are going to have to bite the bullet and be with some of these quarrelsome women who have kids from other men in order to not have a complete and utter population decline. But that's, we don't need to delve into all of that. So that is true submission. And the last thing that I want to say, and I already started talking about it before ranting here a little bit, is so many modern Christian women, especially ones on the internet that purport to be about that life, about being traditional, about being tradcon. It is smoke and mirrors. It is so utterly false. At the end of the day, all they're doing is wearing this tradcon life like a fashion statement, like a new piece of clothing. And women do that all the time for various other things. They will always pick and choose what role that they're facilitating as a fashion statement, what's in. And we are shown time and time again, when push comes to shove and we see them go on these shows and their backs are truly pressed, or their ideology is truly pressed against the wall, they crumble in a matter of seconds because they are not truly submissive. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to smash the subscribe button, like, comment, share. You guys know the drill. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. And facts over feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. I love you, kings. See you guys next time. Christ is king. Peace.